Okay. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, simps and virgins. And welcome back to Krown's Magical.
Yes.
Sexy.
Land it.
And seductive.
Professional.
Magic internet money. But debs and cake.
Well. Welcome back to the Krown's Crypto Cave. No, to the Air Krown Crypto channel. Who knows what this name of this channel is anymore? Doesn't matter. We're talking about magic internet money business today. Today's a very big day, actually, as we do have a big economic catalyst coming on a little bit later today for the FOMC meeting, which I do suspect we are going to see resolution of the current range, and everyone's kind of just waiting around for that in the present moment. So with that in mind, today is a big preparation for the next half day or so to come. And yes, I do expect some pretty hefty price action around that time, as Bitcoin very likely does resolve its range, and by extension the rest of the cryptocurrency landscape. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now, but I would like to welcome everyone in here right now. And good morning to you. Good morning to you, to you deprived fucks who are up way too early, way too early with me. But that's fine, because I want to be around people like that right now. And holy fucking moly, man, I do see that we already have 837 people watching, and we got 300 likes. It's still going pretty damn well. I see our lovely moderators are keeping everyone safe and soft food once again. Dodgymon, there he is. Good morning, man. I love getting split roasted by Bear Jesus. Bear Jesus loves you too, sir. Nikki Page, there she is. Good morning for you. Good morning to you as well. Randy Fox, good morning to you. Holy shit, man. We got all the mod squad in here. Rocky G, there he is. Even Elsa's here, so that's cool, I guess. And also, do we have... I don't see Alex, nor do I see Nimbo or Caretaker Dave, but that's all good. We got a full house in here. And we got plenty to talk about, and I see a lot of familiar faces. Mr. Kobus, Rebel Dia, Gary Kesley, Noah97, Arif, and Hoax. Nice name right there. That one's going to get taken by the old YouTube sphere. Anyways, with that in mind, I need to make sure that I'm on the right schedule over here. Marty, good morning to you as well. Justin Young, it's been a while, man. Good morning to you. There he is, African Crypto Warlord. Good to see you as well, my friend. Good to see you. Hello from Portland, Oregon. Nice, man. I actually went to school at University of Oregon. So kind of right around this, right around there, man. It was actually a pretty damn cool city, Portland, that is, but that was also like more than 10 years ago now. So, well, I don't know what the fuck it's like nowadays, but you know what? Eugene was a fun place to go to college in. Anyways, with that in mind, I think it's time to get on over here with the Krown Chain application. We have plenty to discuss within the Krown Chain application today. Of course, it can be found for free and the link in the description below. It's app.crowntrading.net. And we do see that the fear ingredient X has come all the way down to a 21 from a 28. So we're once again within the extreme fearful zone, and we're really going to be creating a narrative on this video right now, because all underlying market dynamics at this moment in time are essentially agreeing with each other and speaking volumes, if I do say so myself. So we see that Bitcoin dominance has actually kind of steadily been heading up a little bit, but we don't really have any major things to be made out of that. And in fact, that metric I'm not a humongous fan of anymore, or haven't really been for a while. And if we do go on to the top 10 best coins, we actually do see... What the fuck is this thing? What the actual fuck? What is that 10 million %? What? That has to be wrong, man. That has to be wrong. Or if not, well, I congratulate all the new trillionaires, I guess, holding Quadrant Protocol, whatever the fuck that thing is. Looks like Avalanche, Elrond, Pancake Swap, Dogecoin, Polygon, Waves, Cadena, and KuCoin token, all with some pretty decent gains right there. Into the market data tab we go. Big focus on this one today, as this is really going to set the tone for the underlying market dynamics, and of course help round out our general picture here going into this event. And keep in mind that when you have an event like this, the FOMC meeting, where there certainly are going to be insiders who know essentially what's going to be going on, they're going to be making their decisions, you know, a little bit in advance of this. So this should represent naturally what we do kind of expect as this is an unregulated market. So, you know, people can obviously complain about the unfairness of that, but at the end of the day, that is just, well... For better or worse, that's just the way that it is right now until regulation comes in, and then it's like people are going to complain about that as well, so fair enough. Anyways, with that in mind, should I explain the situation first, or should I just go through this first? No, I should explain the situation first. Okay, cool. So, FOMC meeting today is basically the Fed meeting, and they're going to kind of talk about their outlook for very likely like the next year to come with regards to what the sort of narrative is. The narrative up until about November was essentially about supporting asset prices and providing liquidity to the markets to make sure that they don't fucking tumble, which... essentially led to one of the biggest bull markets of all time. In fact, probably the biggest, in fact, definitely the biggest bull market of all time for the last couple of years here, as Bitcoin and all assets, all growth assets that are just continue to go onto the moon and beyond the moon, even to fucking Mars, and even further than that into a different goddamn atmosphere. No, not atmosphere, but universe. Is that right? Milky Way, get out of the Milky Way, the galaxy. Yes, that's right. They're going into a different goddamn galaxy. And so now the narrative has kind kind of changed a little bit because people have started to catch on to this whole inflation narrative. People are rather scared about it, which I've been looking more and more into it. And again, I'm not qualified to directly speak on it, but it is a lot more nuanced and a lot more complicated than I think what a lot of the average person are making of it right now in this terms of like, oh, inflation is, I mean, like, obviously it's not good, but you need to be looking at like the very long term of it. And that kind of offers up a bit of a different picture anyways, but it doesn't matter because the narrative right now is that people are mad, rightfully so, because obviously inflation's going up. And so they feel like it is hitting their, it's hurting their income, obviously, because it is. And well, now the Fed has to kind of defend against that. So the narrative now is shifting from supporting asset prices and providing liquidity to the market and into combating inflation, which is a very nuanced conversation because combating inflation in this aspect really has to do with the supply chain. It's not necessarily like Fed dominated inflation. It really has to do with supply chain. So it is kind of a difficult and tricky situation. Anyways, before I get into that, or I probably shouldn't even get into that because I'm not the best person to speak about something like that, but what I can say though, and what I do feel very confident speaking about is expectations. When it comes to these sort of events, it's all about expectations. Right now, the expectation, because of the whole shift in narrative, is that the Fed will essentially come out and say, hey, we're going to continue on with the taper. We want to end by the end of Q1 of 2022, which is a little bit of an expedited taper. Before it was going to be like Q2 of 2022. And we're going to maybe have a couple of rate hikes throughout 2022 as well. Here's the thing. Even with that, I mean, there's, it's a taper. Like, they're not going to just take away the liquidity immediately, but it's all about the expectation. If the expectation is contrary to reality later today, meaning that either they are not going to taper as fast, or maybe they taper even faster, those are going to change the price action dynamics. So if they're going to taper even faster, if they're just going to kind of continue on schedule, we probably do see cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin break down from this $46,500 base, same area that we've been looking at for the past, like week and a half now. Or sorry, actually going on about 2 weeks. Anyways, and of course, if the reality is that they do not go with the expedited taper, or they talk about, oh, maybe we don't do the old interest rate hikes in 2022, then very likely we actually do see this range resolve to the upside. And the underlying market dynamics are actually suggesting that right now. They're more on that side. Why do I say that? Because we see that the global funding rate is actually negative right now. Now remember, this is an average, so that does mean that some exchanges are, somewhat, decently negative, and some are probably just right around parity at 0.01%. Whenever you're closer to zero, it does favor the shorts more because parity is 0.01%, not zero essentially. So with that in mind, we do see that you are getting paid to hold longs right now. And whilst Bitcoin has been on a downtrend on just about every time frame that actually matters for a trend, this is a situation where the underlying market dynamics are suggesting that there's a little bit more of an edge to the upside right here. Also, we do see that the global open interest actually come down a little bit from yesterday to today. The global exchange's Bitcoin reserve has continued on with just absolute nosedive. We even see another 3,000 Bitcoin net exchange outflows right there, and the leverage ratio, well, that's still pretty fucking high. So in this case, we do have a lot of leverage shorts on the board. That is going to be a function of the financing right here. That's going to be a function of the open interest over here. And obviously with Bitcoin coming down from, I think it was like a week and a half ago now on December 4th, we saw a lot of shorts added, especially below about $54,000, or especially even above below about $50,000, which for the extremely over aggressive and over leveraged guys, and that would be supported by these sort of metrics over here. So there is a squeeze potential, but in this case, the squeeze potential is to the upside in this case. And on top of that, if we go over here to the third data tab, we will see that the fear and greed index has been basing in the extremely fearful zone for about 2.5 to almost 3 weeks now, and that is actually even longer than what we saw in late September on the $40,000 last weekly high or low. And then of course the only time that we've seen it outdone basically in like the last year was of course over the summer, where Bitcoin spent about 2 to 2.5 months in the extremely fearful zone, of which we're kind of in the same sort of context that right now. In fact, there's a lot of similarities between what we're doing right now as far as fear and greed index goes as what we did see in late September, but on a greater scale. So let me actually explain on price action, because that obviously matters the most out of anything. And what do we have? We do have a bit of ascending triangle going on right here. That is actually exactly what we had going on in the late September correction, as well as Bitcoin did play out that nice downside move. And of course, descending triangle does have a greater probability breakout to the downside than the upside. And you will notice that the underlying market dynamics were rather similar there as well. So if I could just go back to our other pane over here, fear and green index was obviously in the fearful zone, just like you see right here. If we go back to the first data tab, you will see that the global funding rate was also just ever so slightly negative, same thing that you saw over here in late September. And then of course, we did see an initial washout of open interest right here. As you can see, this was your September dump. This was your November dump, essentially, and basing off a little bit higher. So overall, at the end of the day, price action obviously matters most, but where would I essentially declare this as a resolution of the upside? The same areas as yesterday, basically. And the same areas the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that. It's basically been the same thing. We've just been waiting around for this for this FOMC meeting, as that's really going to be integral to the long-term outlook of this asset, and that would be resolved above about 50,300 on a 4-hour closing basis, just anywhere above this last closing high, which is actually 50,000. Did I say 30,000? What the fuck is wrong with my speech today? I actually got a good night of sleep last night too. 50,000 on a 4-hour closing basis or so. Let me just double check exactly kind of where we're at. A little bit over 50,000 bucks, or on a wick basis, just higher, anything higher than what you saw on the 12th of December right there, which is 50,785 on BitMexico. All exchanges should be, more or less around that region. Of course, above there, I would be looking for, at minimum, a very quick move up to your last local high, which would be about 52,000 bucks. Very likely a short-term pullback right there, and then I would be looking for continuation towards the greater $54,000 level. Now I want to take a second to address something here that I've been seeing across the webs, and I want to thank someone on Twitter. Fuck, who was it? I forgot who it was. I didn't write it down, but someone on Twitter awared me why, as I asked yesterday, why are people so obsessed with this $53,000 level? Well, it's because they're drawing one of these trend lines right here, which first and foremost, there is a lot of issues with this. First and foremost, they very likely have it on log scale because they, probably don't know what the fuck they're doing. But fair enough. You can have it on log scale right here. It's not a big deal. Anyways, they're probably drawing it like this, right? And then that's where they're getting their $53,000 level from. Okay, fair enough. All right, there is some legitimacy to that. Here's the problem with diagonal trend lines. You never know where to actually connect it. So if I just adjust it like by one fucking pixel here, it massively changes the actual dollar number that level would be coming in. Now it's 52,500. If I put it out over here, which would also kind of make sense. I mean, that would also be, a little bit above 53,000 bucks. So it's like, which one is it? On top of that, when you are looking at price action that is this proximal to itself, so we're only going back like a month or two, what you should not be doing is on log scale. You should be on linear scale as natural. But you only really use log scale when you're talking about very, very long-term analysis. I'm talking about multiple years, in this aspect, and in on an exponential asset as well. And in this case, obviously, this completely changes it, right? Because if you were to do it like this, again, the arbitrariness of exactly where you put this is going to make a humongous difference. Now it's at like 52,000 bucks even. So that completely changes things. At the end of the day, if it's not lining up with a horizontal, it's very unlikely to be legitimate. And that's why I go with this area right here. And what do you know? We have the 0.5 Fibonacci trade. God damn it. Stop that trading view. There we go. Get that stupid, disgusting diagonal out of my face. I hate that. I absolutely hate them. Anyways, the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement's right around 54,000 bucks. That's also your last structural breakdown from October, and of course November right here. That matters a lot. Yes, I've been repeating the same thing for the past few days here, but that is because it is rather important. And as you can see, as long as Bitcoin's below there, it's hard to be like long-term super bullish on this thing. Similar to what we saw back on over here in early October on this first move to the upside. That would be of the same significance right here on that first busting move back above about 48,000 bucks. You could look at the same thing right here at about 54,000 bucks. Now, of course, there's going to be more conservative traders than myself out there, no doubt about that, and fair enough. You are more than welcome to trade however you want. But if you are more conservative, you're probably waiting for the $58,000 to $59,000 lower high right here. To be fair, that is the most probably obvious area for the macro. Above there, I just don't really think that there's like a major bearish case to be made. Obviously, there's going to be ebbs and flows within the market, but ultimately, anywhere above 59,000 bucks, especially, is just, bring out the plan B targets yet again, I guess. Anyways, we do have a few other things to be speaking about here on the 12-hour, actually. So we spoke about this, we defined this, I think it was end of last week, or maybe over the weekend, but we did have a bit of a falling pizza over here on the RSI oscillator. Now, I am not a big pattern trader, and most patterns I don't think have a great hit rate in cryptocurrency land, especially if it's on price action, but if it's on the RSI, they seem to actually have a much higher hit rate. So for example, a falling pizza like this, or a falling wedge, depending upon your sort of disposition of what you look at these things as, well, They actually have a little bit in the low 60% region to have a hit rate here on a 12-hour. Little, maybe a little bit higher than that. I did do my testing for the 4-hour specifically, but 12-hour should naturally have a higher hit rate. Anyways, we did actually bust above the topside resistance of it. Retested it. I think this was yesterday. Put in another drive of phantom bullish divergence right there, and so far so good. So I do look at that as active. I do look at that as good, and I do look at that as relevant. As long as as long as it essentially maintains above the bearish control zone, which is about the 41 or 40-ish read right there. Now on top of that, I want to follow up on the other signal that we were looking for yesterday, of which that was the daily CME stochastic momentum, of which we actually did not confirm the cross the upside yet again. So the number has now shifted. The number is now 49,350 in order to actually cross and back onto the upside. And the 2-day is also going to be flipping back up, not tonight, but tomorrow night on closure, with any sort of a closure above 51,350. Obviously, if Bitcoin does take out the $50,000 area that we spoke about earlier, that condition very likely gets met. So understand the relevancy and the order of operations that I'd be looking at, or that that very likely matter here for the general trend and momentum, as that is going to really shift around the medium and higher term timeframes. So I also want to talk about the relevancy of this region to begin with. Of course, it is due to all of these vertical blue bars that you do see throughout Bitcoin's history, and all of them essentially correlate to the same area on the daily stochastic momentum on CME specifically. That is this green bar down here. Anytime that that the stochastic has actually hit down around there, it's been some pretty damn hefty bounces, even within the context of, nasty weekly downside marks, which we don't have right now. Bitcoin still does not have a weekly downtrend. We don't even have lower highs just yet on a weekly. We do have lower highs and a downtrend on a daily, no doubt about that. But on a weekly, no. Bitcoin would need to come back first below about 40,000 bucks, and then set in a lower high anywhere below about 70,000 bucks. And then yes, we'd have a weekly downtrend. That is what I use to define a bear market in Bitcoin's terms. And that would make me extremely fucking bearish. And I'd be very happy to short heavily into something resembling that. We don't have that just yet, however. Doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it's not in the cards right now. So this is still within the context of a macro uptrend, at least in my opinion, or at least in the way that I look at things. And on top of that, we do see a very, similar signature as far as these signals go. So first and foremost, you do see on this one that whilst Bitcoin did pop back down first to the blue, or sorry, not the blue bar, but the green bar down here, gets that first move up, yes, rejection, and then comes back down. It's gonna have a chance to base on it again. So if this next condition is met today, I'd feel very, very comfortable and confident saying that that's very likely going to precipitate a busting move out to the upside of this, of what would be a descending triangle. Now, here's the thing. Keep this signature in mind right here, because we have two other examples in Bitcoin's history where we've actually seen something relatively similar to that. And the last one would be actually March 2020, the last flu dump. You got base 1 right here, rejection, base 2 right here. And then that was essentially, never looking back below about 40, basically 5,000 bucks ever again. You'll also notice this came within the context of an ascending triangle, as you can see. That's rather interesting. Let's move on to the one before that. The only other one that we have seen a similar signature to this, of which this was, of course, your December 2018 lows at around 3,100 on the last macro cycle low. And what do you have right here? Base once, rejection, base twice, base thrice, and boom, upside move within the context of the one massive ascending triangle right here. Very, very interesting. Well, we have the same thing already on the R side, or sorry, not on the R side, but the stochastic oscillator. And then on the greater scale, do we have one massive ascending triangle being built right here? Well, yes. So I do look at this as rather interesting and rather compelling, but at the end of the day, price action, again, matters most. And I'm just kind of, trying to represent the severity of what we're likely looking at from a resolution of this. And of course, if Bitcoin were to break to the downside, how are we going to know? The same areas before, the same area going all the way back to December 4th, it is going to be 46,500. Getting even a 4-hour closure below that region, of which Bitcoin did salvage itself plenty of times yesterday, would be good enough for me to look for the full-on measure move outside of this ascending triangle, very likely pointed somewhere down around about, I'd guess like 43 or 44,000 bucks. Let's just see right here. Yeah, about 43,500, anywhere around there is fair game. And even then, even if Bitcoin came down to that level again, here's the thing, it would just be hitting the weekly 55, which is, in my opinion, a basing area, at least until it's actually fully broken. It still has a positive slope as well on an exponential, which kind of does matter. And at that point, yeah, I would start to get a lot more bearish, as that would be closing below, your prior weekly lows. But just coming back down there to test it again, it's completely fine. And guess what? It is actually a rather high statistical chance, historically speaking, that Bitcoin, after putting in a big wick to the downside like this, very likely retests somewhere around there. So is that still a possibility? Absolutely. What's the trigger for that? The same shit as before. 46,500 at minimum on a 4-hour, preferably a 12-hour or a daily would do it. And then, yeah, I'm looking somewhere around 43 to 44 or so, and very likely a big bounce there. By the same token, to the upside, it's the same thing as before, 50,000 and some odd change on a 4-hour closure, or just a wick higher than what we saw on the 12th of December. Very likely going to be good enough for, at minimum, another move up towards about 52. Very likely a short-term pullback there, and then the big test of 54. 54 is where everything kind of comes in, or, kind of coalesces in the way that I'm looking at things, and we can see a massive domino effects, an avalanche of effects between what we looked at on the stochastic momentum oscillator, what we looked at on the falling peaks on the 12-hour RSI, between what we looked at, of course, over here on the underlying market dynamics with the open interest, with the funny rates, with the fear and greed index, and with the leverage ratios. All of that shit matters and needs to be considered within the same context of each other. And of course, I do want to bring up yet again that this last major low right here in late September, that that does hold some weight. So this is a big day ahead of us, and I imagine that we very likely do see the resolution of this. I'm curious if I missed anything over here on the daily. Yeah, I did miss something over here on the daily. By the way, if Bitcoin actually does take out the upside of the daily range in this case, or sorry, well, it actually is a daily range, but I was going to say the 4 hours, or that's what I meant to say at $50,000. We actually will have an ever so slight drive of bullish evidence on the daily. Obviously, the 12-hour already has a phantom drive in there, and that is, I believe, confirmed. And the 4-hour, same thing as well. And these kind of are showing early signals of reversal. Even the 4-hour Joule got a pretty damn good signal yesterday around like midday for myself. I think that was like 6 o'clock for myself over here in Eastern Europe. So fair enough. Probably just like early in the morning for you guys in the US, I suspect. Anyways, yes, so we've got through that. Is the same things present on CME? I do believe so, yes. In fact, CME even has a better signal right here. 4-hour RSI plus 4-hour Joule is actually not supported by DMI just yet. So if that does start to get supported by DMI, this would be considered a perfect signal actually, because this is a very, very good signal right there. DMI not supporting it though is a little bit on edge, but that's okay. And as you can see right here, CME chart's actually just a little bit more clean and clear yet again. If we put these on, we could actually move this resolution point down towards this last rejective high right here, which just happens to be in line with the 4-hour 55. How does that work out? Craziness, right? Fucking craziness. And I imagine that the daily actually has a similar formation going on right here, but not resolved just yet in the 12-hour. Yeah, same thing, actually, same thing. So that is a little bit of a counterpoint, but that would still offer up a bit of a, bit of a bouncy bounce if those conditions are met. Okay, cool. So I think we've got through all of that. I'm gonna take a sip of this water over here, and we'll get into some comments. Again, we had to change around the way that we do, or the way that we handle comments. If you could read the pinned message, if you're unsure, that would be massively helpful. But basically, the way that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the highest ones first, and then work my way down as they come in. So hopefully that is the most fair way possible. And I will start to, first I'll start to drink this damn water, because that would be a good idea. I'm really, really thirsty. Hey, what's up, Buried Alive? I see you over there. And Luca Hine, good morning to you as well. Oh, there we go. Man, that tastes good. Great finished water. All right, I think Mr. Jan M is, or JSN M. Oh, Justin Young is first? All right, let me see. Where is... No, I think I do believe it's JSN. Yep. All right, so S Fund Daily and 4-hour. Okay. All right. I don't know. Oh, this must be a stock or something. Yeah, there we go. You're probably talking about... No, you're talking about this. All right, C to 5 fund. Okay. Well, fair enough. All right, daily and 4-hour, please. No problem, man. All right, this one's putting a bit of a base right here. Have we hit extremes? Yeah, we certainly have hit extremes. However, this one I do think has played out at least a good enough correction for the short term. We do see daily hidden bullish evidence right here. We do see it setting in a base right around about $12. So I would mark that area off as a critical point to be holding. And until then, I do look at this as a healthy correction for right now. See what we see on the 4-hour. Not really getting too much from this on the 4-hour, but we do see that the range highs are very obviously right around about 15 at 45. So while I actually do look at this one as first and foremost a nice and healthy consolidation, I would be looking for serious downside price action with any sort of a 4-hour closure below about $12. Looking for, at minimum, moves down to about 11 even, and probably, at least 11, and then I want to come back to it after that. Daily, same thing. If it did come back down to 11, I would be looking for bounces there. Until then, sideways at best for a little bit of time. However, any sort of a break back above about 15.45, and I would be looking for a retest of your prior all-time highs at about $18, and then very likely goes on a new all-time high party. But for right now, consolidating at best. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for that one, sir. Okay, I think we have Mr. Justin Young it's Hoaxes next. Can I get that intro playlist, please, BB? Actually, it's on the it's on the channel. I think if you just type in like Krown crypto anthem, it should be rather obvious. It's actually made by one of our community members, Mr. Corduroy, if he's here. I don't know if he is here right now, but he's amazing. He's awesome. He's actually in the Discord as well. And I see you, Jack. I see you, Frig Diggler. Good morning to you. And Sprocket, there he is as well. Let's see what else we got, man. Okay, I think Justin Young is up next now, and he says, expecting a future captain of Man United or F1 champ, second child in 9 months. Really? Oh shit, man. So you're having a kid. Maybe you are pregnant or your partner is pregnant. We don't know nowadays, but you know what, man? Congratulations. That's fucking awesome, man. Holy shit. Tummy is bullish. I like it, man. Belly size weekly, please. It looks like it's about to do some busting action, baby. That baby's busting out. You're gonna have to get a fucking C-section. That thing's gonna be so big, but that's good because then, you know, it's gonna be, I don't know, you probably don't want to be big if you want to be a race car driver or a soccer player or football, whatever the fuck you call it nowadays. But you know what? Well wishes, man. And awesome, man. Congratulations. It sounds like it's, I wonder, is it going to be a boy or is it going to be a girl? But, well, actually, maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know. Maybe both, perhaps. Maybe both or none. Well, that's helpful. Anyways, like we got ESO David next. He says Bitcoin versus the NDX. Okay, so you want to chart it versus basically the basically NAS. All right. I mean, we can do that. I'm sorry, who was this? This is ESO David, but let me read it first. Don't take it away yet. All right, tech stocks, long term, short term, please. Well, if you're looking at Bitcoin versus that, what are we entering an ascending triangle from the peak? Okay, this is. I don't think that's gonna, hold on. I have to do it like this. I forgot my, I think it's like this. Yeah, there we go. Is it entering to, I mean, it's pretty much the same chart as what we see on US dollar, man. I'm not really getting anything very unique about this, but yeah, it's an ascending triangle. I mean, that's pretty much what I think about Bitcoin USD anyways. So same shit. Anyways, hold on. Don't delete it just yet. Let's see. Are we entering a ascending triangle from the peak of, yep, I get what you're saying, or are we headed? Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Look, it's essentially the same chart over here. The only difference on this one is that Bitcoin USD made a higher high in October, November, whereas this chart obviously made a little bit of a lower high, but it would be the same thing anyways, man. Basically looking at something like this. Yeah. That's kind of my general disposition until proven otherwise, man. Until proven otherwise, I'm happy to get bearish. I'm very, very happy to get bearish, but problem is I need to see like confirmation of a weekly reversal first. Anyways, okay, we're good there. All right, I think it is time for some Mr. Peter. Actually, good morning to you as well. ANT USD for and daily. Sure, this is Aragon, I think. Remember we looked at this one yesterday and it was actually okay, and yeah, still looking okay today. In fact, I do believe yesterday we said another retest of the top side of your daily range and actually weekly range. That's going to be about 685. I think you're kind of en route to that right now. That's fine. Looks like another weekly higher low to me, and I believe we also had, should have some hidden bullish evidence actually populating there. It will get populated on a move back above last week's high. Any sort of a daily closure above about 690 or 685, and I would be looking for an official retest of about your 9.25 wick highs from late November. And this is just going to start to look pretty damn good above there. Long term probably does go for another retest of your $14 highs. In fact, this is actually quite good. I don't really see anything bad about this as long as you're above $4 especially. And short term, very likely looking for a retest of this region, very likely pulls back after that as well. And then I imagine whatever the FOMC comes up with later today, they are going to either perform the busting action right here or maybe a major failure. But in this case, this is starting to price in some busting action. It looks like all momentum oscillators are bullish. Just understand that we do have an economic event later. And if Bitcoin, gets anywhere above about 50,000 bucks, this thing's very likely going to be one of the bigger movers, I would expect. So nice one, man. All right, we got Rebel D next. He says, hope you're doing well, man. Thanks, man. I am. I got a good night of sleep last night, and today's an off day from the gym. So it's like a free day, except it's not, because I'm gonna be recording a video later with Jason Pizzino, a good friend, and also doing some fun stuff with Elsa as well for the holiday season. Anyways, near USD on the 4-hour, daily, and weekly. How about that wick? All right, let's see. What is this? I remember we looked at this one a few days ago and it was interesting. And what the fuck? What about that wick? I imagine this thing's just like highly illiquid or something. Or someone fat fingered this thing, and it is highly liquid. What we got, 2.63 million traded in the last 4 hours, and this thing trades about $10. That's okay. It's not super bad. I wouldn't necessarily call that a rejection, just because I imagine someone probably fat fingered this thing. Anyways, you know, regardless of the way that you look at this one, I actually do look at this as a higher low as long as it's above $9. I don't know when we charted this one last. I'm going to guess 3 days ago, but I was probably holding on to this region right here. I do look at this one as good as long as you do remain above that region, just going sideways for a while as you do let volatility kind of cool off here. Now below $9, especially on a 12-hour or daily closure, I do look for a retest for your range lows, that being around 7.25, maybe a little bit lower than that over time. But until then, sideways in here is good for the Boolaws. Resolution above about 12.35. That wick. That Wicto, that fucking Wicto. All right, Cobus, Mr. Cobus, Cobus P. There we go. Sand 30 minutes and 4 hour. All right, we got some rent to be paying with a 30-minute, but that's okay. It's almost the end of the month. Actually, not really. It's literally the middle of the month, so not even close. 30-minute right here. 30 minutes actually okay to be quite honest with you. I see a slew of higher lows. I see some same highs right here. What do we have? If we're charting this one on the 30-minute, we have a bit of an ascending triangle in the making. That does imply that you will lose your posturing below about 470. So that would destroy it and very likely imply another retest of your 460 to basically 460 to 465 lows. Resolution to the upside above about 485 on a 30-minute closure. Looking for moves back up towards just under $5, I imagine. You're also looking at a 4 hour? All right, quite the spread between timeframes there. Do we have any bullish evidence for me right here? Yeah, we do have some bullish evidence for me right here. Should bounce first before anything else. First bounce target is going to be just under $5, somewhere around about 490 to 495 or so. And then if things really get going, assuming that Bitcoin gets back above 50,000 bucks, which is again a big question mark right now coming into to today's event, then I'd be looking somewhere around about 515 to 520 or so. Other than that, this one is still maintaining lower highs, so short-term bounces are to be considered corrective unless you get back above 550. That would be my reversal conditions on this one. Until then, corrective at best with short-term bouncy bounces in line there. All right, let's see. What else did I miss over here? Marty S says CTSI, baby. Rise and shine. Rise and shine indeed. CTSI. Let's see what we got this on this one. Not great. No time frames given though, so well, I guess the long term is okay here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's doing something like this, right? Do I have a chart for this one? Yeah, I do, kind of. Although I could pull this one back. We could actually incorporate the macro here. Fair enough. Why not, man? Why not? We can include the greater picture, but I don't know what time frames you're running off of here. Anyways, I guess the hopium is that you are doing something resembling this. That would imply that you really don't want to see any closures below about 60 cents or so on a daily closing basis. Shorter term time frames like a 4 hour, kind of similar to sand, right? You're very likely to bounce here first, see some volume pouring onto this one, see some bullish evidence forming. Probably does continue on with the bounce somewhere around about 65.5 cents or so. But long term, well, not even long term, but just medium term, still under intense pressure as long as you remain below your last lower high, which is 72.30. So again, corrective at best short term, but short term bouncy bounces implied. And I would call this one a breakdown with continuation towards your last major low, somewhere around about like half a buck, I imagine, with any sort of a 4 hour closure below about, let's call it, it's not even really helpful, but 59 cents in this case. Other than that, it's just easy to watch what Bitcoin's doing. Long term, as long as it kind of does maintain this trajectory, it can be considered okay, but probably not going to be strong on its own in this case, if I had to guess. Let's see, where else did I miss? Where else did I leave off? I think we got stock tiers next. Yep, he is Mr. Next right now. All right, where did you go? There we go. Nord USD on KuCoin. All right, I remember this one from last week, and it was one of the more interesting ones last week, if I recall properly. Man, my memory is really getting tested here. Yeah, in fact, this one very similar to CRV, I remember. Yeah, so it got that initial breakout, comes back down to the range lows, puts in a higher low, good. Short term, very likely continues on with a good old bounce right here. I'd be looking at, anywhere around about $5.50 is fair game. Still can't really get too excited about it on a daily as long as you're below the daily range highs, which is 620 above there. I do look for this one to play out whatever move I have plotted in here, which we have not gotten confirmation for just yet, but would be all the way up to about 930 or so, or about 9.25 to 9.5 or so over time if that condition is met. Until then, short-term time frames showing a little bit of upside right here. And I don't really have a reason to get bearish on this thing as long as you maintain above that last 4 hour higher low, which is $3.50. So it kind of depends what time frames you're looking at here, but I don't believe that you specified on this one, unfortunately. Ultimately, though, one of the better actors, I do like that higher low right there. Just waiting for a resolution on the daily range in this case, and that'll be had above about $6, let's call it, and targets up somewhere around like $9, I suppose. Quite a big move there for a low dollar name. Anyways, let's see, what else do we have next? Who do we have next is the real question. I think we have Mr. Sean K. Mr. Sean K says ENJ 4 hour and daily. Sure, ma'am. I remember we've looked at this one a few times last week, but I forget what it was doing. It got hit with the rest of the market. Does look like a little bit of a local low right here. You will have some bullish evidence if you confirm this as a local low. How would you confirm this as a local low? Just needs to close above yesterday's high, and then yes, I'd be looking for at minimum a move up to about 260 or so. But let's go down to the lower term time frames as you did suggest, and it's very similar to a lot of the other ones that we've seen here. I would refrain on getting super bearish on it as long as you are essentially maintaining above. Okay, not this level because that is for a different time frame, but as long as you are above about 2.25. I do think that bounce plays out first before anything else. Kind of similar to a lot of the other ones that we've looked at. Bounces can come all the way up to like 2.5 to 260 and not really have done all that much. Long term, I don't look at this one as a reversal or good as long as you're below about 295. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case. If Bitcoin takes out about 50,000 bucks to the upside, that is going to be your next sort of good signal for something like this. And I imagine this one would initiate a test somewhere around about $3. $3 like your next big area for a daily. Yep, on the daily right here above $3. I look for this one to actually perform rather well. All the way back up towards your 375 highs and play out a bit of a range from there. This one's going to start to look really, really good over a long period of time if that happens. Weekly, yeah, weekly would look pretty damn good here, but the problem is that if you do break your current low structure, at minimum, looking for another test just below $2 from December 4th lows, and at maximum, looking for a big wick down to 175. So if the Fed comes out later today and they're not very friendly, then it's probably what you're looking at, to be fair. Anyways, let's see what else we have going on over here. We got Luca Renz. He says, "Hey, sweet man. It's I appreciate that, man. But understand like it. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, and honestly, the best way to get through life is to just that's just the easiest way to get through life, honestly. It's like worry about the things that you have control over, and don't worry about shit that you don't have control over. Sometimes, I get in my own way with that. Elsa can definitely tell you about that, but it's all about just maintaining perspective on that. And if you can meditate on those facts, then it will very clearly show yourself what's actually important to you and what's relevant to even give a fuck about to begin with. Anyways, you are looking for some Bitcoin on the 15-minute, 30-minute, and hourly. We can do that. Not a big fan of like the 15-minute on Bitcoin. 30 minutes, okay. 15-minute, if you're just looking at it from this perspective right here, what do you got going on? Well, you got a bit of a consolidation after a bit of a short-term move to the upside. Probably looking at a very short-term retest of about 47.8 or 47.9, whatever it ends up being. But you want to see those lows hold if this is going to form something resembling a bullish continuation formation on a very low-term time frame. Again, this is extremely low-term time frame bullshit, so how much do I trust that? Not much. 30-minute, I think you asked for as well. Same thing, not really much anything different right here. Volatility does say that this is a bit of contraction into very likely a continuation formation. Where does that actually get destroyed? That gets destroyed on even a 15-minute closure below 47,750. Below 47,750, I do look for this one to dump back down towards basically low 47s essentially on a 30-minute, on a 50-minute and hourly. Do we get anything unique from this one as well? Again, just kind of suggesting that 47,750-ish region is a big basing region. Other than that, I don't really see anything here that's, giving me like a major signal, something that's like super compelling. Until then, it's kind of like you play the low term time frames coming into a day like today. You do that at your own peril, man. One of the things that I did in traditional markets when I was a market maker, authorized trader, is during these sort of events, I would just pull my close. I don't want to be trading. I don't want to be holding positions, let alone very low term time frame positions into an event like this. To me, then, and any time that I've ever done that was usually a very painful reminder by whatever wrong color dildo that I didn't want in my life to come and get me. So at the end of the day, on days like today, I want to be on higher term timeframes and be taking the easy trades. The easy trades in this case are 43 to the downside versus a breakout above about 50 to the upside. That's all that I'm looking for. And again, you're free to do whatever you want to do, but just understand you are playing with fucking fire when you have a big economic event coming up later today that we have no fucking idea, absolutely no fucking idea what it's going to be. It is a wild card. Yes, we can come up with contingency plans for it, absolutely, but at the end of the day, if you're holding positions into that based off a fucking 15-minute call, you're probably losing the forest inside of the trees, or the trees in the forest, or bears shitting in the wood, and whatever those damn sayings are. Don't know, it doesn't matter. All right, let's see. We got Aaron Peta next. He says, "Can you give your thoughts on the strong block project and analysis?" I don't analyze shitcoins, sir, from a fundamental perspective, but I can give you an opinion on the chart if it has a chart. Let's see with this one over here. No time frames given, so I'm guessing you want an actual fundamental analysis. Man, fundamentals. Oh, the fundamentals are great. This one gets sold into fucking oblivion. Let's see what the real chart looks like. Yeah, that's known as a blow off right there. It's very likely to bounce from this region, man, but. Look, man, if you're looking for a fundamental analysis, I'm not the person to be asking. I don't spend my time doing that, nor do I think it's honestly very valuable on most of these things. I know that some people would massively disagree with me, but when you're talking about trading, when you're talking about, looking at price action in like a trading plan fashion, fundamentals don't really play too much of that in my experience, unless if it's like an economic event, which is something actually a little bit different. But if you're just talking about like the team members are good, that's great. But in a bear market, everything's going to fucking go down. In a bull market, everything's going to go up. So, and it doesn't even matter if the fundamentals are great in a bull market. I mean, what's one of the things that went up the most? Fucking SHIB coin, man. Great fundamentals, right? Anyways, this thing, it's very likely to get a bounce here. This chart actually is very reminiscent of Hex in this case. And similar to Hex, it's very likely to bounce off this region first and foremost. Can it bounce all the way up to 600, maybe even 650? Yeah, absolutely. But just like Hex, this one's heavily bearish as long as you're below about 900. So short-term bouncy, multiple drives of bullish evidence come off the lows, probably does test up towards 600 to 650. Again, have to realize what's happening a little bit later today, as that will definitely drive markets. For right now, if I had to call it, I do think that you do test the upside. But hey, any sort of a daily closure below about 380 or so, and I'm looking for this one to absolutely shift the bed down to 285 minimum, probably more like 250 to 285 region. Going to be a long dive there, sir. A long and painful dive. Yes. Can I read the last one? Meant NDX text. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait, what, sir? God damn it, sir. No, it's no. I know what he's trying to do. I did put that in there. Okay, so you want to do? No, you're talking about. Oh my God. Okay, this is frustrating. BTC USD NDX. You're looking at the NAS 100. Yes, I know what you're doing here. I don't think it's going to make a difference, to be honest with you. And it doesn't make a difference. Same chart as before, man. So fair enough. Again, it's really not even different than the US dollar chart to begin with. So, the main difference here is that Bitcoin USD made a higher high on October, November. This one did not. They're still in the same formations. You're still above your higher low from late September. There's really nothing different there, to be honest with you, man. And it doesn't really change my analysis in this aspect. If anything, if I go to a daily, again, this looks a little more like a local low right here in the making, but it's just easy to trade the chart in front of you. I don't really understand I don't really understand why people want to look at something like that, if not for anything other than just like I don't know, just as like a thought experiment maybe. But you can't trade that chart is the problem. You can trade Bitcoin, you can trade NAS, you can trade the individualistic stocks, but you can't trade that chart specifically. So yeah. But hopefully I identified exactly what you're asking in that case. If not, then let us know, I guess, again. But I don't think it's going to change around too much. That chart, NASDAQ, whether it's NAS 100 or just NDX, is going to be pretty much the same thing. Anyways, let's see. Derek Baumgardner says the trade desk TTD on the daily, please. All right, there we go. We got some time frames here too. This is good. The trade desk on. Okay, we got a real stock. This is cool. This is cool. You're on a daily. You're just on a daily. Pretty ugly. Pretty fucking ugly. But is it more likely to bounce here than not? Probably yes. Yeah, probably bounces here first and foremost. Where do things actually turn back around above $99? Until then, short-term bouncy can bounce very easily back up to 92, maybe even 94, without really doing all that much. So it should be first move bounce today, and then if you do get above 99, I would call a reversal, or I'd just be looking for another retest of your all-time highs at about 111. It looks like, yeah, those are your all-time highs. Until then, weekly looks a little bit like a higher low. I'm more inclined to be looking at this as probably does pull through, but again, it's going to be event driven by this FOMC meeting, very, very likely. If they do come out with negative news in relation to the expectations, I'd be looking at about 86 and a quarter as a resolution point for a downside, and a big downside move after that, somewhere back down around about 76 to $78 or so. Is where I'd be looking for, but should bounce first, and then, well, does it get above 99 or not? If it does, great. If it doesn't, then, well, very likely back down to base. Cool. All right, sweet. Let's see. We got that. Nice. We got TC Elliott Sound says lithium daily, weekly, monthly. Okay, got it. LITH. Okay, this thingy right here. No. It's a crypto. Just when I thought it was another legitimate thing. No, it's not. It's a crypto. Lithium finance. And terrible. Really fucking bad, man. Really, really bad right there. What about OKX? Even worse. Holy shit. What about Huobi? And it gets even worse and worse and worse, man. Bear Jesus is in full control right here. But here's the thing, is it likely to bounce relatively soon? Yes, I do think so. Somewhere around kind of where you're at right now, maybe a little bit lower at about 1380 or 14 even, somewhere around there. I do look for a bounce, but this is an ugly chart, man. Really not much history here to be going off of. If I go to a full hour, it's just continuation of the downside. It's fucking ugly, man. Very, 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 very ugly. I see you over there, Josh. I see you over there, sir. We're going to get to that actually next, sir, because we did change things around. If you did read the pin message, then all good. Anyways, you're going to be building up a lot of divergences on this next move, but this is just ugly as fuck, man. There is absolutely nothing bullish about this thing at all whatsoever, as long as you're below 2 cents. Corrective bounces can come all the way up to 1.7 cents and not do anything relevant at all. This is ugly. Ugly. And I'm not calling you ugly. You as a person, you're probably beautiful. You're probably very sexy and handsome and badass. This is a chart. This is a chart. Very good looking. This is a chart. Very, very ugly. Very fucking ugly. You got it. You got like a Bart going on right there too. That even works for these things, but probably is going to get a pity bounce relatively soon. Does the pity bounce get it above 2 cents or so? If it does, all right, we perhaps have a reversal in our hands. If it doesn't, well, probably looking at our next lower high before the inevitable, sir. All right, there he is, Josh. Good morning to you, man. Namaste to you as well, sir. That actually is quite nice to hear. It is quite nice to hear, man. Yes, stay nice and neutral and all good, man. Anyways, you are saying, how do you prepare for a new trading year? Goals, starting balances, anything would help. Thanks as always. Okay, so all right, let's actually record this one. This is a topic that I can speak a little bit more free-handedly about. All right, here we have a great question from one of our community members, a good friend, Mr. Josh. He's asking, how do you prepare for a new trading year as we come into the end of 2021 right now? He's asking goals, starting balances, etc. Anything would help. Thanks as always. Okay, so within the context of a question like this, we have to understand that your trading goals should, at least in my opinion, not be dependent upon the time of year. What they should be dependent upon is where you are at within your trading sort of trajectory. So I really like to get away from this sort of event-driven, event-driven analysis of how you should be changing your life. It's the same thing as like having, the way that I'm kind of interpreting this question is like the same thing as having a New Year's resolution. Why are New Year's resolutions bullshit? The reason why New Year's resolutions are bullshit is because if you actually want to do something, if you actually want to, make a change in your life and you're very serious about it, you don't wait until the beginning of the year to make that change. You should make it right now, because right now is the best time to be making it for, your long-term trajectory, as it's going to give you the best leverage on your actual time, of which you have limited time on. So for example, everyone wants to have, not everyone, but a very common New Year's resolution is to go to the gym, right? Well, if you're going to have a New Year's resolution that you're thinking about in November or December to go to the gym starting January 1st, 2022, it's like, why not start now? You're going to get further along your progress trajectory now if you start today than you would if you wait, in a couple months. And what's the good old saying with that? You will always wait, like 1 month ahead of now, you're going to wish that you started today, because you're just going to have more progress with it. And that's what's going to actually make you more adept. Anyways, with regards to your question, goals, starting balances, anything would help. So what I like to do is I actually rebalance my goals just about every quarter. So I want to be having goals for, not necessarily, the problem with having goals is that they need to be relatable and within your volitional control. So my goals always come down to not necessarily results, although those should naturally follow, but what's in my control. What's in my control when it comes to trading is, am I able to take up the setups that I define as relevant to me? So if you actually listen to my last podcast with Chris Laurie, who is amazing, I don't really care about analyzing the whole market for YouTube and whatnot. Yes, it's fun to do. It's a good, it's a good practice. But as far as trading goes, I'm just looking at a very, 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 very small subset of the market essentially. And anything could be going on like a weekly, monthly, or a 5-minute. It doesn't matter if I'm trading the hourly or 4-hour. Those are mostly noise to me, and anything outside of my strategy is noise. So as far as goals go, I just want to be making sure that I am following my strategy. And for an actionable thing that you can take that will help you with that is, and this is where you really should be spending your discipline. Like if you're a disciplined person, your discipline is not going to help you by just staring at charts all day with no goal in mind. Your discipline is not going to help you with taking trades all day like I see some people do. Without any real direction. Your discipline is going to be best applied towards back testing and then forwards testing on a small dollar account, typically speaking. Whatever strategy that you're mulling over, and then making very, 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 very small and minute changes towards that as you get the information and statistics that are relevant to you, as defined by you, because this is again about you being the authority of your own trading life, and you want to be looking at others, perhaps like me or the people around you as colleagues, but not like the master. Like that's not the way that it should be. So. Again, going back to your question, I think that that's just the wrong mentality to be coming from. And also because I know you and I know that you're very successful with this, you don't need to be changing things around all that much. What you should be doing if you really want to, have goals and stuff like that, is you should be using your free time or using any of your time, if you, depending upon how serious you are about this, with optimizing your current strategies. Because again, I know that you are rather successful. So really only making small little 1% changes here and there is where you want to be. You don't want to fuck with the formula. You want to just fuck with the very, very small things, because guess what? A 1% higher hit rate over time amounts for a humongous amount of gains over the course of a lifetime. Starting balances, again, just irrelevant, unless if you just want to play like a game with yourself, like, can I build it up from this amount or not? That's, fair enough. Maybe that's motivating to you. I don't know, but motivation is not really what we want to begin with anyways. We want discipline, because motivation will come and go depending upon your mood, depending upon how much sleep you had, depending upon whether you're on your period or not. Shit like that is going to really mess with your motivation, and you can't be reliant on your motivation, because you need to be very consistent in order to be successful. And how are you going to be consistent? Discipline, not motivation. Motivation is great. When you have it, lean into it, absolutely. But always remember, it's like going to the gym. If you only go to the gym when you're feeling motivated, you're never going to get anywhere, or you're probably not going to get anywhere, because you can't be motivated all the time. It's not natural. It's like telling someone to be happy all the time. You can't. It's like there's just going to be times where you're going to be sad. It's just the way that's going to be. As far as, so goal starting balances. So what I like to write out for myself is I like to, I like to focus down on exactly what my goals are, again, to kind of like summarize this whole damn conversation. What I like to use my time doing is I like to make goals that are in my volitional control. So this would be, I want to increase the hit rate of my current strategies by X amount, and I'll do that through back testing and forwards testing, and that is something that is goal worthy because it's within my control. I can't make goals like I need to make $1 million this year, because that will naturally come from the base of what I'm just speaking about, but you don't really have control over that. And there are, of course, non-zero probabilities of black swans and just weird shit that happens that might fuck with that, and you can't be reliant or dependent upon a goal like that if it's going to like drastically fuck with you if something like that happens, because it naturally will happen over time. I mean, obviously we just dealt with March 2020, and that would be very difficult to deal with if you have like a goal in mind, like you must make this amount of money, and then something like that happens, and well, that's a reality situation. You can't fight reality. So those goals are fine to have, but they need to be within your control and grounded in reality. Those are my main conditions for that. Those sort of goals are completely fine. Those sort of goals you can be disciplined towards, but you don't want to be at the whims of non-zero probabilistic events that can and will happen over time that can drastically fuck with you, but not really make any reasonable difference. So hopefully that was helpful, and there we go on that. A little bit long-winded there, but I think I got the main points across that I was trying to say. All right, cool. All right, sweet. Yeah, man, maybe a little bit too long-winded on that. Apologies, man. But as always, Josh, you can be able on Discord, man. Let's see. I think we are moving back up over here. I think it's time for, we got Cobus. Okay. Let's see. Gary Kesley says, good evening to you as well. Nervos CKB. CKB. I remember we looked at this one like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was actually looking pretty damn good 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I imagine probably not so much anymore. And yeah, this one is actually rather interesting to see today because it was another one that was very similar to Curve, but this one has broken its range lows, which is not good. Yeah, it has. Yeah, I believe it has broken its range low. So most things in this market are looking for short-term bouncy bounces here. This thing would be no different, right? You do have some bullish evidence building up right here. Very likely see it at minimum 2.1 cents. Corrective bounces come all the way up to 2.3 cents. Problem with this one is that you are within the context of a downtrend. You don't really have any reversal talk as long as you're below about 2.6. So fair enough right there. This one's got a lot of work to do. Coming back down below the last prior range lows is not a sign of strength. Obviously, here's the thing though. If Bitcoin bounces later today, if you see the Fed come out with relevant, relatively good information, then you probably do see that level taken out, and this thing turns out to be bullish again. But let's see where we're on the weekly scale. Weekly corrections can come down very easily to 1.6 to 1.7 cent or so. And this one would actually still have a pretty damn good formation. And I mean, to be quite honest with you, really wouldn't be asking for too much for something like that to happen. And you'd still be looking at, something like this, right? You'd be looking at one massive ascending triangle coming off the lows. And the trend line would actually be right there as well. So fair enough, man. Again, I don't think that I should be asking for too much. It'd be a very classic sign to see that move happen like right before the FOMC meeting, or maybe like right as it gets released. And then if the information's good, then bounce it back up. For right now, not a humongous fan of that one. Just short-term corrective bounces, and long-term doesn't give another base right around about 1.7 to 1.8 cent. That's kind of where I'd be a little more interested in it for the long term if I had to. Anyways, we got Noah97 next. He says, question please. All right. How do you pick for relative strength coins that will bounce the most with Bitcoin? That's actually a really good question. Okay, so how do you understand which coins are going to be relatively strong essentially with Bitcoin on Bitcoin bouncy moves? So what you want to be looking at is you want to be looking at the coins that are holding up relatively well right now, during the downside moves and during the consolidation moves. The ones that are putting in rallies ahead of Bitcoin or rallying with Bitcoin, those are the ones that are going to perform the best. The ones that are obviously dropping lower than Bitcoin, or if you're looking at their Bitcoin pairing, their Satoshi pairing, if those ones are on long-term downtrends, those are not going to be the ones that are going to be relatively strong. So let's give an example right here. This one would not be an example of a relatively strong one, as this one has come down with Bitcoin and actually even made new lows below its 4th of December lows right here. Ever so slightly, but yes, they are present, of course. Let's give another example. Maybe, I don't know, I need to pick out, or I'll just pick out like a very obvious one. How about Litecoin? This piece of highly esteemed technology right here, right? This thing comes down more than Bitcoin on the last December 4th drop, right? Giving up about 35% right there over the course of the day. And Bitcoin, what did it give up? I think it gave up about 20% or something like that. That'd be relatively weak. This one's come all the way back down to its September lows. So this one's already retested its last weekly higher. I don't even know if it's a weekly higher low anymore, but basically around its last weekly lows, this would be relatively weak as well. So if and when Bitcoin does bounce, again, we're making an assumption here, Litecoin is unlikely to be bouncing as much, so it'd be relatively weak. You're looking for the ones that have been holding up a lot better than that. So I don't know any off the top of my head. I know that we saw like a few yesterday that were okay. Definitely not Cardano. This would be another example of a relatively weak one, just ugly as fuck. It comes all the way back down to its July lows, its summer lows. It's already around its summer lows. So that would be relatively weak again. I'm actually having trouble finding a relatively strong one, but they definitely do exist. And we saw a couple of them yesterday and the day prior. Let's see. We have Dude Daddy next. Oh man, he just popped right in there, man. Let's see. Hey Krown, hope all is well. Thanks, man. Hope all is well to you as well. It sounds like you are up very, very late. So all good, man. You're looking at Hero USD on full hour on Krown. All right. Hero, so this is Meta Hero. I think it's like one of them games. Judging by its name, it's probably got something to do with the metaverse, and this one is having a nice little strong bounce right there, actually. So we did see it take out the short-term 4-hour range highs at 15 cents, held the range lows at 13.20, so that is good. Short-term, I'm looking for this one to play back up towards 18 cents or so, just under 18 cents. Keep in mind, though, long-term, well, not really long-term on anything that has this little history, but still corrective long-term. Or at least I wouldn't be like bullish for new all-time highs as long as you're below about 21.5 cents. But short term, yeah, I do think that this one does continue on with the old bounce there, anywhere around 18 cents or so, or just under 18 cents, fair game. Let's see, what about like just an hourly, just to see. Yeah, very likely continues on with bounce as long as you're above about 14.5 cents or so. Not really too helpful because right now it's, the bounce already in progress, but the real question is this your next higher low or not? If it is, then I'd be looking for this one, I'd really start to confirm this one back up about 21.5 cents. That's where this thing looks like it's ready to trend towards prior all-time highs and very likely make new all-time highs. Until then, short-term bouncy, and again, whichever direction Bitcoin chooses later today, based upon the FOMC meeting, probably going to see this one follow as well. Cool. All right, let's see. Let's pop back on over here. I think. Did I? Oh no, I haven't done Randy Matthews. Yeah, let's do LYXE now. Lasco, LYXE. This is Luxo, I think. Let's go. Let's go. 1 hour and 4 hours. Okay, got it. You have a great day as well, sir. Thank you for including time frames as well. This one also having a pretty damn good bounce right here, right? So short term. Well, short term, you're about to take out those next range highs, to be fair. So I guess I already have it charted in there, but we got too many things going on. So we'll just plot it right there. Maybe a bit of a short term hourly pullback from that region, but this actually looks quite good right here. This would be an example of a strong bounce thus far. Next area of interest above there on even probably an hourly closure above that region, which is like 17.35 or so. I would be looking for an extension of the rally all the way up just past $21 or so. Somewhere around there hourly. Same thing, probably does push back on the first test of that 1730 to 1735-ish region, but pulling back from that region is completely fine. Just want to see it actually clear above sometime intraday here, and then I'd be looking for the next set of targets to be met. So I'm just out of curiosity, what are we looking like on a daily? Yeah, daily has multiple drives of bullish divergence, so if daily can close above, especially that $17 number, I would be looking for at minimum, 21 to 21.25 over the next few days here. Would actually look okay. Again, you're on the lower term timeframes, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of get a quick analysis of the higher term timeframes. So yeah, short term, very, very short term, probably does pull back a little bit here. Pullbacks all the way down to, $14 are fine. Just don't want to see it crack below $14, even on an hourly closure. And I'll be looking for this one very likely to try for another move to the upside. Again, kind of have to be aware of what Bitcoin's doing later today, but this one would be one of the better actors short term, especially. Cool. All right. Okay. Okay, Jack is next. Okay, where is Jackie? Where is Mr. Jack? There he is. Found you, sir. There he is. And I know exactly what you're going to be asking. Matic USD. Oh, okay, Matic USD on the 4 hour. Gotcha. All right, let's get it. Here we go. And you're looking at a 4 hour and daily as always. Okay, 4 hour, we do have a nice local low in. 180 continues to hold. This is very good. In fact, I'm going to record this one here. Yeah, I would like to record this one. Here we have Matic versus the dollar, requested by Mr. Jack, as always. And we're looking at a 4 hour and in daily. We'll actually be doing a general overview on this one. Again, long term. Well, actually, hold on. Let's go to the chart that I already have here, because this one is still working and has been working for a long time now. Long term, we still maintain our higher lows, and I absolutely love that, obviously. And what do you know? We have another higher low yet again above the 180 level right here. That was our bias buster for the daily and even 4 hour time frame yesterday. So as long as it's above there, looking for bounces back up anywhere around about 220 is fair game, of which we got up to about 208 short term here. And sideways now, short term is completely fine. And I do look at this as your next, as your next basing point, your next sort of low area. So I would still keep one, or let me actually move this area up right here. I would still put a, a bit of a range at the 180-ish region, meaning that if you do start to close 4 hours or especially 12 hour and daily below there, I would be looking for big moves down towards 150. Until then, this is actually shaping up to be your next higher low, which is kind of a continuation of what we've been looking for the last few days here, which is quite good. Still wouldn't call it resolved to the upside as long as you're below about 220. At that point, I do look for another retest for your all-time highs at 260 and very likely new all-time highs somewhere around $3 if I had to guess. And for right now, you do have some hidden bullish evidence populating here. So any sort of a closure today here or higher, or especially above, it would look really, really good above about 203. Then I would be looking for that to play out with at minimum a test towards the 220-ish region. Does it break above there or not? I'd like price action to decide. Obviously, FOMC meeting coming in later today is going to have a big part in that. But long term on the weekly, again, I'm not going to be bearish on a chart that looks like this. Fine, as long as it's above 150 or 180, especially, I can't be bearish at all. I'll be bearish certainly below about 160 on a daily. Until then, until then, this one just looks like it's kind of trudging its way upwards and onwards, and hard to hate something that looks like this for what it's worth right now. Just want to see that hidden bullish divergence confirmed and play out a little bit more of that short-term range. Again, above 220, very, very good. Let's just go quickly check it out over here to see if daily stochastic. does agree with this or not, but I imagine probably okay. And daily Stokes are actually correcting here still, but they will turn back up with any sort of a closure today above 211. So probably more short-term sideways if I had to guess. 12-hour will turn back up above 204, definitely within striking distance, but still a little bit further away. 4-hour is also freshly up as long as above 182 essentially. So I imagine this one very likely chooses this direction based upon the FOMC meeting. But for right now, one of the stronger actors. So going back to our conversation earlier, someone was asking, how do you judge which ones are going to be strong? This would be one. This one never even entered into a daily downtrend. Phenomenal thus far. Below 180, yeah, we got we got some problems back down to 150 or 160 or so. But until then, still okay here. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Matic Sir. Nice one, man. All right, sweet. We got that. We got that. I think it's time for, oh, nice. Actually, we got one right here. Okay, sweet. Okay, we got Noah 97. It's time for Arif. And he says EGLD 4-hour and daily, please. Okay, EGLD. Gotcha. You're looking at a 4-hour and daily. The same old, the usual. Very, very similar to a lot of the other ones. Short-term bouncy. Jack. I got Jack, Noah, and Arif right there. Short-term bouncy, similar to a lot of the other ones that we've seen here. This one actually bouncing ahead of Bitcoin as well, so that is a good sign. 4-hour very likely trades up somewhere around about $300, maybe even as much as 320 or so. That's kind of like the next major area right here for this asset. Okay, I've got this one on too many time frames here, but if we're just talking about the 4-hour, you're looking at about somewhere like 325 actually. And I would get bearish on this thing with any sort of a 4-hour closure below about 250. Until then, I'm looking for the bounce to carry onwards and forwards here, very likely with a test up somewhere around about $300. That's going to be the next sort of major area for myself. Back above 325 on a daily, I do look at this as your next major high or low, and I do look at this one as ready to trade back up towards 400. And then we'll come back to it after that. Weekly, I'm still very hesitant on the weekly. This one does, I mean, this thing could easily fucking come down to like 180 or 200. That's kind of the problem with this thing. Look, if the Fed comes out later and it's not fucking good news, man, this thing will correct down there. But for right now, short term up $300 or so. Big problems below, what was it, 250? I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, about 250 even on a 4-hour. Until then, short term bouncy. We'll come back to it later. Again, you have to watch Bitcoin though in these cases. Okay, I think we got Mr. Strange. Miss Strange, there he is. Good morning and cheers. What?
Did you say you did Noah?
Yes, we did Noah, and we did also Kobus above him as well. Kobus, sorry, the first one. Strange says good morning and cheers. Good morning and cheers to you as well, man. There he is. Look, sandpaper, not FA. There you go. There you go, man. The warlord is speaking. Jordy Watts Fishing says, hey, morning to you as well, man. Arvo for us in Aussie. I now know that means afternoon. How the fuck do you get Arvo from afternoon? Don't know. It sounds like avocado to me, though. Can you dive into super? Yeah, we can. Yeah, sure. Super over here. I don't know what time frames are going off because you didn't specify, but I imagine we're probably short-term bouncy, as is most of this market. Yeah, short-term bouncy. I would like to see this one back up about 145. That's where this one does start to change around in the short term. Until then, big problems. Big problems below 107. Let's see, what about a 4-hour? 4-hour, same thing. Yeah, sorry, actually, no, a little bit lower than that. About 104 on a 4-hour would be rather concerning. This one's still looking a little bit more like on a laggard scale here. And do we have hidden bearish evidence? No, we do not actually. So that is, I guess, a little bit on the better side right there. Let's see, what about a 5-day, just really quick? That is a hard one right there. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, if this thing shits the bed below 104, this thing's gonna get absolutely crushed back down to like 80 cents. But for right now, just like most of this market, short-term bouncy. Where do things start to change around in the short term? For this one, it's really not until you get back up about 178 or so. Until then, bounces can come up all the way to about 1.5 to 145 or so, not really do all that much. If the daily started to close above 150, that would also be considered quite well. We do have some bullish evidence forming over here, or do we? Actually, no, we do not. Yeah, so a little bit on the weaker side. Look, if this one could close today above about 145 to 150, that would be a pretty damn good signal. If you're on a 4-hour, I would wait until about 170 to 175. Those are kind of like the big areas for me, but daily is a little bit easier right here. Problem is when I go to the higher term time frames, this one, if it does shit the bed, it's coming down hard, and it's coming down real fucking hard, like 80 cents to 75 cents if you do lose the 104 level. So for right now, it's kind of the same thing as the other ones. Short term bouncy, If Bitcoin fails, if the FOMC is not great, then this is going to be a very, 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 very long day for many altcoins. Sure, are you okay with that? Else is on the move. What are you doing? What are you doing? Elsa's mouse battery is wrecked, so she's off duty for a second there. That's all good. I can handle it. I can handle it. I used to do this all by myself. Anyways, we got Vix Fix says daily, weekly Ethereum USD. Your strong opinion on consolidation, short term, long term. My strong opinion on consolidation, short term and long term. Short term, are you in a consolidation still? Yeah. Yes, you are. I mean, we've kind of already played out the move to the downside that we were looking for on the break of 4,000 or so. That was down to 3650. We kind of already got that. It's more likely to bounce here first. Problem is, man, this one's hard to love long term as long as you're below about 44.40. Anyways, should we do a general overview on this one, or do I have enough videos for today? Maybe we do a general overview on this one. All right. Here we have Ethereum versus the dollar, and we'll do a general overview on this one. Now, the hopium is that you are bouncing off the 21 exponential average based upon the breakdown from our prior range lows at $4,000. So we've already kind of hit the target on that. And typically, after you do hit the target on a move like that, you are very likely looking for a bounce. Now, bounces can come all the way up to 4,000 even, maybe even 4120, or 4130. It really not do all that much. That's kind of the problem with this one right here. And it's starting to move into a bit of a bearish posturing from my sort of trend perspectives. I mean, we already have kind of a downtrend right here, but here's the thing. There's a big economic event coming up later today with the FOMC meeting, and I imagine that if you see Bitcoin back above, let's call it 50,000 bucks or so, you're probably going to see Ethereum pull through and do one epic move right here. Here's the thing though, as long as this thing is below about 4130, it is still heavily under pressure, and all bounces below there are just that, bounces before continuation. Short-term timeframes, do we see any bullish divergence forming right here? Yes, we do. So short-term targets up. Well, we kind of already hit the easy one at 39, but next target would be somewhere around about 4,040 or so, are still relevant, but even that's not going to revert. The short-term time frame trend, it actually be the same thing as the daily right here at 4130. So that's a big area to be aware of. If you see that area taken out later today, sometime around the FOMC meeting, that would be significant, and that would make me a lot more inclined to call a full-on reversal there. Prematurely actually, but until then, we do see that lower term time frame momentum oscillators are turning up right now. 4 hour is up above 3,800 or so. Hourly is, I'm assuming, already up. Indeed it is. Yeah, it's already freshly up above 3,840. 12 hour is going to be freshly crossing up with any sort of closure above 4,000. Okay, and daily will also turn up above 3,850. So that is actually a little bit more on the on the bouncier side here, which would be good. Just want to see this one take back above 4130. At that point, I would be looking for some sideways and upside action back around your prior range highs, whether it be 44 to 4,500 or so. That would look really, 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 really good. And to be fair, the weekly obviously is still in an uptrend, and for what it's worth, as long as you're above the weekly 21, you should be looking at that as, well, upside on. Now, to be fair, you got many drives of bearish divergence right here. You would not have hidden bullish divergence possible if you do put in a local low there, so that'd be also not great as well. But again, the event later today is very likely going to drive price action. So if you see this thing back above, let's call it 4,000 first, and then 4,100 is the big one, or 4,130 if I'm being like as precise as possible. Those are the next big areas to be reclaiming, sooner rather than later. Otherwise, I'd have to be looking for correction to continue onwards and forwards. If the Fed comes out later and it's not very nice to asset prices, then I'd be looking at another move somewhere down around about 34 to 3,500 or so, and fill the wick from December 4th right here. Until then, it's probably easy to watch Bitcoin for direction. Bitcoin about 50,000 bucks. You very likely see this thing pop back above about 4130 as well, and that's going to look very, 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 very good. 5-day, again, kind of weak right there, to be fair. 2-day, same thing, kind of weak right there. Need to see this one back above about 4130 before end of week, in my opinion, to be honest with you. Otherwise, correction continues with some downside, I suspect. But it's a long week left to go here, and for what it's worth right now, short-term timeframes are showing continuation of bounce. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Ethereum, sir. Yes, this was Vic. So yeah, if you are going to look for that next move down to your 3450 lows, I would look at that as relevant if you do close a 4 hour delta below about 4,700 in this case, or sorry, not 3,700 in this case. Until then, short-term bounce continues. But I guess the hopium also here is that maybe you're doing some resemble like a falling pizza. But again, I'm not a big fan of those formations, and I do not see the same thing on the R side. Okay, cool. We got that. We got that. Okay, we are good there. Let's see. Where did I leave off? All right. Here we go. Basketball says Polkadotty. Okay, Polkadotty. No time frames given, but that's all right. Let's go with the 4-hour daily in this case. Magic's going to be doing the same thing as everything else, and a little bit of a laggard here to be fair, but should bounce off this region. Bounces up to 28.25 are completely fine, but don't change shit. This one changes back above where? Back above, well, on a daily, back above about 31.5. This one starts to look like a major low, but even on a 4-hour back above about 29.5 starts to look pretty damn good. So until then, short-term bouncy, this thing can bounce very easily back up to 28.25. That doesn't mean shit. What means shit is actually above 29.5. That's where this one looks like a major reversal and probably trades up over time towards like 37 to 38 bucks. Until then, where's your continuation of downside? Basically below your same range lows as we've been looking at for the past week and a half now. That would be about 25 and 15 cents on a 4-hour closure, even an hourly probably, maybe 25 even on an hourly. I'd be looking for a move back down towards, well, I guess that's 23 to 22. Anyways, let's see. Okay, we also got Strange as well. Cool. Okay, we got that. Okay, nice. We're actually working our way down this bitch. This is good. This is actually working really, really well now. Sweet. All right, I think Maxi Histrov is next. He says thoughts on Matic. Yep, we already did that one, so already good. Just opened a low leverage on the breakout last night. Be aware of what you consider a breakout. Define timeframes with that, but you do not have a high term timeframe breakout. You just have low term timeframe breakouts right there. It's really going to matter on where that one closes today. So I think it was 203 or 204 is the major area to be aware of. Above there, things look pretty damn good, but the breakout for the daily is about 220 on that one. That's where things start to look very, very interesting. I think we got Lemon next. Lemon says Atlas USD on the 4-hour and 12, boom or doom. Well, it could also just be sideways as well. I hate to say it, but that's usually what's going to be happening for most of these things. So we got FTX, OKCoin, and CoinEx. Great. Yeah, still maintaining the downtrend here to be fair. Something like this, but where do we have a reversal, or at least a talk of reversal back up about 12.75 above there? I do look for big moves. In this case, back up to about 14.25 or so. Big problems obviously below about 11. 4-hour and daily, same shit right here. More likely to bounce here though. You are building up some divergences. If I had to call it right now, you probably do trade back up towards 14 cents or so before anything else. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case, but is there boom or doom? I think it's a little more likely to give you some bust in action right here, but bust in action again confirmed above 12.75. That is the big area, and dooming bust in action is below about 11.40 or so. Okay, cool. Got that one. All right, let's see. Gus Kretsch says LGB 4-hour and 12-hour. Sure, man. Is this a thing? It's not a thing. It's just okay. You're just using it to. Do you want to look at the LGBTQ 100? This is a real thing. Elsa's gonna think I'm lying, but this is actually a stock index for like LGBTQ friendly stocks. No, it's real. It's real. Okay, no, it's real. It's real, and they're very bullish. They're very fucking bullish. Look at that. These LGBTQs are bullish as fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, there's actually not an LGB token, or at least not that I'm aware of. Unless you're looking at, probably not. I can't believe that this is actually a thing. Like, not because I don't support that. Like, obviously I support fucking gay people or whatever the hell you or whatever the hell you are. I support you. I don't understand why there needs to be a stock like this though. That's a different conversation.
Same thing as restaurants, we are LGBTQ friendly.
Yeah. See that on restaurants too. Isn't that so weird? Isn't that so fucking weird? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Look, of course, it's like, do you have to say that you support that? Because, like, obviously, I fucking support that, but it seems weird to just say, yes, I support them. It's like, what the fuck? We're all people. Can we just support people? And then you're included in that as well. And then we don't have to separate ourselves with these, like, weird, bizarre identities that actually mean nothing. They mean fucking nothing, by the way. Hey, look, if you didn't choose something about your identity, it's probably not something worth basing your personality or worth on. Just a personal opinion there. But maybe I should shut the fuck up. Anyways, Leo YouTube says, "Hola, Krown. Hola, sir. Any updates or on your options testnet account?" I haven't made any trades there in like a few weeks. I don't know. Let's see. How's it doing right now? Actually, just brought it up right here for the first time in a while. No, there's not really any updates right now. I'm still holding the same $33,000 long. I think some of my options positions expired. Probably waiting for this event later today. in order to put any, yeah, I'm gonna wait for this event later today in order to put any new positions on. But my December $60,000 call strike is starting to really dig into my P&L right there. Yeah, nothing too interesting right there, but I'll be putting on some new positions probably after today, especially if we get one of the range breaks that I'm kind of looking for. Let's see. I think we got that. Okay, I think we got that. All right. Still Learning says, hey, sir, what's up, man? Been trying to get you to look at CIS-USD, best recent chart in crypto. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really, never really looked at this thing. Is it one of the better charts? Yeah, it is one of the better charts. No doubt about that. Yeah, very, very good right here. Again, going back to our conversation earlier about what, what ones look strong. This would be it, man. This would certainly be it. I mean, this thing's put in a fucking rally, a continuation of this rally. This one's even stronger than Matic, for example. Really, really good right here. In fact, I would say that this one, okay, I am seeing where I'm pulling that from now. But you, in my opinion, you kind of already got the big breakout over here. Yes, I do see the relevancy of this level coming in back from your February 2018 highs. It depends what time frame you're looking on, which I don't think you specified a time frame, but it's actually pretty damn good, man. Short term, does it pull back a little bit? Can pull back to 73 cents, no problem. Can pull all the way back to 69 cents on a correction, no problem as well. This one's bullish as fuck as long as you're above about 66 cents in this case. And I'm just looking for sideways and up. Daily, same thing, and weekly, same thing. All higher term time frames bullish. Kind of already hit that target right there. I guess next targeted region would be about almost $1. It's quite good. Quite good. Again, for the more recent, yeah, I'd say it's probably among the best charts, maybe even the best chart, short term. Yeah. Nuke Texas, Bitcoin to the moon phases, please. You working out, bro? Am I working out? You noticed. Nice. Thank you, man. The moon phases. Let me pull up my moon phase chart over here. I think it's, which chart is it? Man, I got too many of them now. I think it's this one right here.
Sorry, who is this?
This is Nuke Tech, and we just did Still Learning and Leo YouTube and Gus, and yeah, there are a bunch of them right there. Actually, sorry, I did kind of skip a few people, or I did skip one person on this one, but we'll just get through this one really quickly here. Moon phases. I think we got a new moon phase. Hey, what the hell? Oh, whoops. There we go. That makes a little more sense. I think we got a new moon phase at the end of this week. So yeah, somewhere around the 18th or 19th of this month. Fair enough. It's going to be a Bula moon. Last one didn't work out so well, but maybe this time is different. And actually, the last two didn't work out so well, to be fair. Anyways. Yes, I did Leo YouTube. Christian Cooks says, good morning, Cheesewell. Could you look at gold on the weekly? Yeah, we haven't looked at gold in a while. I don't really care about gold anymore, I guess. Weekly, still basing. Is it going to give you another test back down to like 1755? Probably yes. Monthly, long term, I know you didn't ask about it, but I'm still going to be looking at, the mid 1700s as a basing point. I think it's probably going to end up being fine here, and just looking at one massive cup and handle, to be fair. That is starting to really formulate itself, but 4 hour, short term down, very likely retest around lows. Coming into an event like today, the expectations start to get priced in as the event comes to fruition. So in this case, you're going to see a lot of things come back to support. This would be one of them right here, but I wouldn't call it a breakdown just yet. You're probably going to see a breakdown if the Fed comes out with like some not so great information, but until then, very likely retest the lows. I'd probably be looking for it to hold the lows. Where do I get bearish on this one? Because I always do need to be aware of that. In this case, you need to be looking at the monthly, because this one is a macro asset on the monthly, not the weekly, and that would be basically a monthly closure below about 1740. So we do have another couple weeks left in this month to go. Personally speaking, I actually do think that it's going to retest around 1750 or 1745, and then very likely bounce there and probably try and move in like Q1 of 2022. It's just been really, really boring on this one. Man, that has got to be that just looks like a boring chart right now, especially coming from cryptocurrency land. But fair enough, I understand why people like to why people like to look at this one. But short term down, problems below 1720 until then. Short term sideways and down is completely fine. I imagine you're going to see a big move coming in later today. Above about 1800 is where things start to look a little bit better for the daily in this case. All right, cool. Okay, we got that one. Nice. All right, we're looking good, man. This is actually going really, really well today. This is awesome. We got Natas next, Phantom 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. Thanks, man. Cool. Okay, so Phantom, symbol FTM, USD. We haven't looked at this one in like a week or so. Very similar to the other ones, a little bit more on the weaker side. This one is bouncy here though, and short term, you kind of already hit the easy target there, but next target region would be about 148 to 150 or so. Things do start to change around above 157, specifically 157 in this case, right here. This little wick high, or it's more like 156, whatever. Above there, I would be looking for a retest of your daily range highs. That's going to be about 175, so a rather important move. You know, short term is more likely to bounce here, similar to all the other things. Corrected bounces within the context of you know, of even a long-term reversal are obviously, you know, relevant to be happening. And I think you're kind of looking at that right here, to be fair. Now, I guess I would be looking for another retest for your wick lows somewhere down around about a buck even if you do crack back below about 1.25. Until then, very likely bouncy here, and then pay attention to the events coming in later today. All momentum oscillators are suggesting a little bit of continuation of bounce here. So I'd probably just leave it right there. Not really make it any more complicated than that. Looking at a weekly, again, you're a lot more likely to bounce off this region than not, but similar chart to Hex again, actually, where you get that blow off top, come all the way down to the 55, very likely to bounce off the 55 before any sort of potential continuation below first. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this one bounce from this region, you know, more medium to long term. Again, event later today really does matter, and easier kind of base things off of Bitcoin here as well. All right, cool. We got Balloon Party next. Says hi from Perth, Western Australia, I think. There we go. Keen on your thoughts on Rune Chart. Definitely Australian with the words keen. Keen. I'm keen and heaps. Heaps and keen. Like, those are the two Australian words. We've actually been watching this this Kiwi guy, which is like kind of a pseudo-Australian, do like this travel documentary, and he's great, man. You got to check out this channel on YouTube. It's called I think it's called Indigo Traveler or Indigo Travels or Indigo Traveler. Anyways, this Kiwi guy goes to all of these, you know, usually thought of as very, very dangerous places. I'm talking about like Libya, North Korea. I'm talking about, I mean, he's been like everywhere in Africa, Nigeria. Seemed pretty sketch actually, and plenty of places in South America, like a lot of the places that we typically get conditioned with as being very, you know, dangerous. And he just, you know, goes and lives there for a little bit of time and tries to immerse himself into the, you know, into the civilization. It's so interesting, man. Especially because a lot of the time it's, you know, it's rather different than what I would have expected, to be honest with you. Anyways, looking at the daily over here for Rune, again, this one's definitely weak and definitely a laggard here, but are you in a more bounce area? Yes, you are. You do have potential bullish, actually 3 potential bullish divergence drives formulated right there. Will be confirmed with any sort of a move back of about 720 or so, with targets back up to about 830 to 840-ish region minimum if things really get going. Corrective bounce come to about $9.5 to $10, but problem is with this one is that long term it kind of has lost its structure. You know, coming back down to your October lows is not fucking a sign of strength, right? But just like other ones, you're typically going to bounce right around the 55 here. Kind of already did get it, you know, back in September, so maybe this is maybe this is a straw that breaks the camel's back. But I wouldn't be looking for any downside continuation. This is just not helpful here because it's basically your current lows until you close below about $6. Below there, it's all for naught, baby. It's all for naught, and very likely coming down significantly. Shit, maybe like $5 or so if that would happen, but more likely to bounce here first and foremost. And again, very likely going to move on the, you know, on the event a little bit later today. So just be cognizant of that. You know, again, short-term corrective bounce can very easily come up to like 715 to 720 and really not do all that much. Things start to change around significantly above about, I guess, like 9.5 or so. Yeah, $9.5, $10 or so long term. Got a lot of work to do there, man. That one is certainly on the weaker side. So even if Bitcoin does get a nice move to the upside later today, then this one probably not going to be joining as much. Anyways, we got Critter Munson. Nice name, sir. Can you look at near USD? I think we did this one earlier, possibly. You're looking at a 24, so you're looking at a daily. Yeah, we did look at this one earlier. Yeah, weird wick right there. I just look at this one as still range, and actually look at this one as still good as long as you're especially above $9. Below $9, I do look for correction back down to 730 to 7.5. Until then, I just think that's probably like a fat finger and very illiquid asset. So, you know, probably okay. And I just can't get bearish on this thing as long as you're above $9. Below $9, yeah, big problems. Until then, okay. All right, cool. We're starting to get towards the end here. Adrian Simic says, tomorrow we smack a bottle of whiskey regardless whether positive or negative news from the Fed. Well, sir, we're traders here. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, this is just a volatile event that's going to offer up some edge. So, you know, take advantage of it. If you're a hodler, then maybe a little more scary. you know, I can't imagine just being like a pure hodler and not having access to options and just like holding through these events, man. That's gotta be, how do you go to sleep at night? I don't know. Doesn't matter, but oh well. Let's see. I think we got Kimchi next. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Jesus Canto. Dreams on the 4-hour, daily, and week. Okay. I hope that there is a daily or weekly there because I'm not familiar with this one, but Dreams Quest. Not much of a daily and definitely not going to be much of a weekly, so there's that. But it's pretty bad for the history that we got. Pretty fucking bad, man. Look, most things in this market are kind of preparing short-term bounces here. Is this thing going to be different? I mean, it's certainly weak. It technically doesn't even have bullish evidence right there. It's very, very weak, but it'd be kind of remiss to not say that it's going to at least try to bounce with the rest of the market. That would be about 1270 or so. I think best it does see upside is 17 cents. There's just not anything resembling a reversal here, even for like a 4-hour short-term time frame, as long as it's below 2230. So short-term corrective bounces, yeah, anything below 2230 is just that. Things start to change around a little bit above 2230 and probably do actually see a decent rally back up towards 40s or so, but until then, man, probably one of the weakest charts that we've seen today, but just not enough history to be looking at any time frame that actually matters, again, that being like a daily or weekly. So I'm always going to hate a chart that looks like this, man. It's just ugly and disgusting. You don't need to buy a chart that only goes down, man. It's not a great sign. Short term probably does bounce though, to be fair. I mean, it'd have to be like really a weak piece of shit in order to not bounce with the rest of the market if Bitcoin, if Bitcoin plays out that short-term move. Don't let Krown get New Zealand confused with Australia. New Zealand is far superior. Really? Well, fair enough, man. I've been to neither of them. So I really want to go to New Zealand though, just because of Lord of the Rings, man. That would be phenomenal. We can never go. Oh yeah, they do have rather stringent rules. Kimji says Ethereum, Bitcoin, 4-hour daily. Sure, man. Let's pull this one up over here, and this one's still maintained above 8 million Satoshis. That's actually not the big area for me to begin with, so I still think this thing could easily come down to like 7.7 or 7.8 million Satoshis, and that's actually still fine long term. I just look at this as your first pullback after the big breakout. There is one concerning thing here with that breakout is that you don't see volume follow through on this, which is not the best sign. So if I did want to construct a potential failure case, that would be it. But again, I don't call this one a failure until you close a daily below about 7.7 million Satoshis. Until then, short-term pullbacks typically after a first breakout are usually going to be a buy. Monthly, yeah, it's a bit of a doji deal right there, but close on new highs already on the month. I mean, it's fine, more or less. It's fine as far as I'm concerned. Let me go back to the weekly. Same thing as the 5-day, basically. Anyways, you're on the 4-hour right here. Is this one trying to put in a bit of a short-term base? It does look like so. Do we have bullish evidence forming? Yes, we do. Just need to close above your last little swing high right there, which is going to be about basically 8.1 million Satoshis. Above there, I do look for a continuation back up towards your range highs, about 8.25 to 8.3. And that's going to start to make the daily look a lot better. Again, I think that you're trying to put in your next higher low right here. The question is to come down a little bit further first. I don't have a strong opinion on that really. You're going through your first correction after a big breakout, but here's the thing: any sort of a higher low above 7.7 million Satoshis, you will have hidden bullish evidence in very exaggerated amount too. So I'm just waiting for some resembling that. Until then, a little bit corrective here with short-term bounces implied. I would call this one or confirm this one as your next major low and game on once again to the upside for like a trending move with a daily above 8.35 million Satoshis, 8.35 million Satoshis right there. Cool. All right, cool. I think we are starting to get to the very end now. We got Golby Files. He's looking at Track USD on KuCoin. Okay. Track over here. All right. How far are we getting here? Yeah, I think we're going to have just enough until the end of the stream here. So this is good because I do need to go directly at 2 hours. Got to get on with Mr. Jason there. Track USD. Okay, daily, weekly. Let's go to a weekly here. Probably am looking for a bounce off this level before anything else. If things do fail later today, I guess I do look towards 70 cents. But for right now, where's your next big level to the upside? You kind of just tested it right there. 135, if you can take that out to the upside, that's actually where things do start to look like this, pointing towards the next major higher low. And for what it's worth, daily RSI does say that you probably get another. Hey, what the fuck? Hold on. 4-hour and daily completely different there. Oh, no. Sorry, I apologize. I'm wrong about that. Okay, my eye is not working too well right there. Big problems on a 4-hour closure below about 104, and I would be looking for a correction first to new lows. If that were to be met, until then, I'm looking for sideways and up from here with very likely another test of 140. Any sort of a closure above there on a daily, and I'm looking at this one as the next major higher low with targets back up towards 2.5 and 3.5 over time, and very likely just continues on with the macro rally here. As this one, quite got a quite good history. Problem is, if you break the current low side structure, then corrections down to 70 to 80 cents are going to be relevant. Until then, it does look like you're trying to put in a higher low right there, which is good. Crypto Trend Z101 says Ethereum daily 4-hour. Yep, we already got that one goal if we go to the upside. If you're on a 4-hour, I'm just looking at 40.50 to 41.30. Above 41.30, things start to actually change around, and I'd just be looking for a general move back up to the 44 to 4,500-ish region. So that would only be relevant again for the upside, of course. Malik says AVAX, please. Okay, no time frames given again, so I'm just rolling with it, baby. So here we go. $90 again. Short-term bouncy. This one actually having a greater bounce than most, to be fair. Just want to see this one close above, actually same level as yesterday, $96.5. This one does really look like it's put in a major low right here, to be fair. We do have bullish evidence come off that last low. I just want to see this one officially close above 96.5. And then, yes, I would be looking for big moves up towards, 110, 115 or so. And this starts to act as your next major low in this case. Weekly, yeah, not bad right there. Bang Average Rider says Luna all time frames, like literally every single one. Literally every single one. I don't know about that, man. That's going to take a long time. Like literally every single one. Similar to Ethereum Bitcoin in the sense that you got your breakout to new all-time highs, you get your first correction back down to the 9, and that's fine, man. And again, I do look at this one as good as long as you're above $52, and I think that's what we said yesterday. Yeah, same areas yesterday. Below 52, I look for a correction first to about 44 to 46, but let's actually record this one. Here we have Terra Luna, symbol LUNA versus the dollar. And yesterday we did an analysis on this one saying that $52 looking like our next higher low right here, of which it did hold. And I would be looking for short-term corrected bounces, or sorry, not corrected bounce, but just short-term continuation somewhere back up to about the $66.5 region or so. We do see, or sorry, we do not see any hidden bullish evidence right here. So that'd be a little bit of counterpoint to what I'm saying right now. Short-term time frames like a 4-hour. Just playing at a bit of a range, so not really anything too interesting right here. Would like to see it officially close above 61.30 in order for it to officially or more relevantly get that next move up to about $66.5 or so. But this is starting to look okay right here. You got a nice base around $52, closing below there, even on a 4-hour closure. Let's call it like 51.90 actually on a 4-hour. Then I would be looking for corrections down to about 43 to 40 to 45 or so. But for right now, things looking okay. Again, we do have a big event coming in later today, so it's unwise to be, too adamant about technical analysis within the context of an FOMC meeting. But for right now, still on the weekly right here, I do look at this as your first breakout to new all-time highs. This is your first sort of correction after that. That's okay. Just want to briefly see if this thing has not moons, but momentum also heading to the upside, because that would be rather helpful to know. And yeah, we will see momentum turn back up to the upside above 66, in fact. So that 66 level is a big one for long-term continuation towards new all-time highs. In that case, probably looking somewhere around $100, I'd imagine, over time. 4-hour going to be turning down with any sort of a closure below 56.5, so do need to see that level maintained for upside momentum short term. 12 hours also freshly turning up above 57, and hourly kind of all over the place right here. It's going to turn up above 58.5, so kind of at a bit of a critical junction intraday here. I imagine that the FOMC is really going to push this one either which way, that being above about 60, or I think it's 64 in this case, or below about 52. Those are the big areas in this case right here. And hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Terra Luna, sir. Nice, man. Let's see. Did I miss some over here? Nope, we're good right there. All right, we got that. Saeed says Cardano USD. Oh, man, you done did it now, sir. You done did it now. One of the weakest of the week, but even this one gets a bit of a pity bounce today. Probably gets back up to 133 to 135 region. Again, this one's been beat up so fucking much, man. It kind of almost is like a guilty pleasure to just continue to be bearish on this one. But I would be looking for a short-term reversal back up above about 145. So if this one can even just close a 4-hour delta, let's call it above 145, I would be looking for it to put in a decent rally somewhere around about 160 to 165 or so, which is, rather big on a $1 name. 4 hour, I'm sure that we got many drops bullish divergence off the low, so it's very likely to rally here. I think at minimum 133 or so. The question is, does it take out the next relevant level? If it does, then I look for the next what was it, like 160 to 170ish target. Long term, heavily bearish as long as you're below 180, but it's kind of due for a bounce right here. It's been beat up. It's been beat up quite a fair bit. So yeah, probably not the wisest to be looking for like another shattering move to the downside before a corrective bounce first. Again, make sure to watch, of course, Bitcoin, because that one's going to really be judging the violentness of the direction here, and also the direction as well. So anyways, let's see. Jack Jansen says, maybe someone else said near, maybe MCUSD, 1 hour and 4 hours. Sure. This is Merit, I think. Merit Circle. Yeah. Okay. And they got a US dollar chart now. 1 hour and 4 hour, huh? Well, monthly is not very helpful. Neither is a daily. Let's go to a 4 hour. 4 hour, again, bouncy bounce right here. Probably does bounce back up somewhere around about 5.25 to 5.30 or so. Above 5.40, however, this one does have a bit of a short-term reversal in progress with targets back up towards 6.10 or just $6 even or so. Until then, short-term bouncy. You do have a little bit of a local low. You do have bullish evidence coming up there. So fair enough. Vince says Rose USD, please. 1.4 and daily. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got it right here. Lovely. And what do we got? Still in the same range as yesterday, but this is fine. Again, I don't have any major issues with this chart. In fact, it's one of the better charts overall. Let me just write this one down. I do want to follow up on this one. I think that was charted for 4 hour right there, but let's actually just do this one for a daily. In fact, the 55 is kind of governing your higher lows. You do have a hidden bullish evidence right there. You've already played that one out. However, obviously above 36 cent or anywhere above 36 cent, this one looks really, really good with, returns back up to your prior 43 or 45 cent highs over time. By the same token, below 24 cent, big problems, looking for corrections back down to 20 cents even. Until then, it's probably gonna run off of the information coming in later today. So, those are kind of the big areas to be preparing for right here. Short-term time frames are in the middle of the range, so I probably wouldn't make too much of that. Probably not the best idea, but higher term time frames like a weekly and 5-day, more good here than bad. Just, again, we have a big event coming in later today, so have to put a lot of weight on that, of course. J3F says Matic 4 hour daily, and if done, Luna or Sol. Well, we haven't done Sol actually, so no, that's about Solana, but I think Solana's been a sliding piece of shit recently. Hey, we're back up to 166 though, not bad. Short-term bouncy, very likely back up to 175 or so. This one starts to get bullish once again above $200, so it's got a lot of work to do, but short-term very likely does continue on with the short-term bounce towards, I think it was 175. Pretty good right there for the short-term at least. Lauren Gontero says, CGG, please. Short-term goal, buy at 109, sell 186. That's a short-term goal? You're going for a 2x on a short-term goal? It's rather lofty, Lauren. Rather lofty, but yeah, I do think you got a nice local low, and right here, you're buying at 109. Why 109? Out of curiosity, I don't really see the relevancy of it, or maybe I do. Maybe you're just going off the 110 level right there. It's actually not super bad right here, to be honest with you. I do think that you are getting ready for a bounce, but well, you kind of already got an easy bounce right there. Short-term goal, I don't know about that, Lauren. If I was thinking short-term, I'd be looking up towards about 150, and that would really only be actionable if you do close above basically your current 4 hour high, which is basically 115. That'd be like a short-term. If you're more on like a daily or so, would I be looking up there? I think it's definitely possible, but just to understand the order of operations, if you're on a short-term, I think up here is completely fine. If you start to close 4 hour dildos back above about 150, Lauren, then that's at the point where I start to look maybe towards like your $2 target or so. But that's pretty lofty for a short term, or maybe we just have different definitions of short term. But basically, this is what you're looking at right now. Just need to see a closure above this region right here, and then I'd actually be looking at that as a relevant move towards 150, not $2 yet, but above 150. That's where I start to look towards that 190 to $2 region. Fair enough. And this one does look bouncy right here, to be fair. So yeah, something like that. Let's see what 2-day looks like. Same shit. Where's the problem area though? Big problem area right there, because right now getting rejected from, but that's okay. It's a little bit too early to judge it. Big problems below 90 cents, obviously. And again, understand that big event later today. Big event later today. We got Sambo Banjo says, protect the children, please. Protect the children. We must protect the children. It's like that's the justification for everything now, isn't it? We must protect the children. That's right. We need to ban Bitcoin. Protect the children. We need to ban dildos. Protect the children. We need to ban the Ronas. Protect children. It's like, what the fuck? All right. Cryo War, Sea War, 1 in 4 hour. Kind of a weak bounce right there thus far. Okay, this one's actually quite different than a lot of the things that we've seen. So hold on, let me go to a daily here. Okay, not much of it. Oh yeah, this one's very, very new. Very, very new. We must protect the children. Let's protect the children from this chart. All right, so I would be looking at this one as having a bit of an upside resolution above 220 and a downside resolution below about 163. If you do lose 163, even on an hourly closure, I do look for this one to come all the way back down to like 130. Above 221, probably even on an hourly closure as well, I would be looking for a return back up towards 280 to maybe not just $3 would look okay. Let's see. Okay, got that one. Vince is next. Win USD, please. 4 hour and daily. Got it. I think we're going to be just at the right. Yeah, we're going to be just at the right time frame here. Short term bouncy. Again, a little bit on the weaker side. Hasn't really bounced with the rest of the market, but short term very likely to hit 48.50 or so. If things really get crazy, corrective bounces up to 52.50. But long term, definitely very, very weak here. I think best it does to the upside, on like a big bounce, let's say like the whole market just gets a massive growth green deal. I think best this one does the upside is like 63.50, but that's on a daily. So, just understand the different time frames that I'm going over here. And the daily target is relevant above 52.50 or so, for what it's worth. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much done. Joe USDC, says Glenn Wong. Okay, yeah, disclose them. All right, Joe, we'll look at Joe for Mr. Glenn Wong. Okay, it is on TradingView. All right, fair enough. I guess. Not much history here, but I guess better than some of the other ones we've seen at least. 4 hour daily. Okay. Does look like a little bit of a local low right here. You know what? This one's actually not bad. It's actually not so bad right here. It's kind of a sloppy chart because I think it's just an illiquid altcoin, but I expect you're doing something like this. Or at least that's the way that I look at it first and foremost. And you do have some bullish divergence already formulated. So you know what? I'd be looking the same thing as many other things in this market. Probably does bounce up to like 2.5 or so. Above 2.5, that's where the daily starts to confirm this as like a major low. And I do extend targets all the way up towards 330 to 350 or so over time. By the same token, below 175, big fucking problems, big red dildos following after that, probably back down to like 130 to 140 minimum. And then, well, we'll come back to it after that. But for right now, short-term bouncy. Just want to see it get back up about 255. That's the big one. And again, as with anything, man, the FOMC meeting today is going to pretty much negate most technical analysis on the short-term time frames. You actually do have some hidden bearish divergence. Sorry, we're literally at the end here. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I think we're good there. All right, cool. Okay, I will pin the message. Where is it? Elsa's so silly. But you know what? Fair enough. We're already at 2 hours here. I think I'll just maybe pick out one comment or two. Let's see. I want to see like a question, not like a look at this shit coin here. I've had far too much to drink and upset a lot of Australians tonight. Not that they matter. I'll see myself out, says Big Boy George. My man. Very, very nice right there. Thank you for that chicken nuggets for days. I appreciate that, man. Hey, thank you for that, Weeterburia. Appreciate that, man. You gotta mute the old slippy sips. There we go. Ozzy Gal is having a good laugh right there from Tyler Gongloff. Nice one. Elsa's dying, says Modern Zombie. Indeed. All right, we'll look at one last shitcoin just for you, Mr. Brendan J. Moon River. That sounds, man. From the name, I'm not getting good vibes. I'll tell you that. But probably likely to bounce here. Minimum 203. Things start to change above about 227. Again, not the best chart right there, but above 227 and a half, this thing probably goes for a nice ride towards like 280 to 290 or so. Perp your derp, baby. Do the old perp your derp. What's up, Jeannie? Good morning or good afternoon to you. Dixie? We could actually look at Dixie, Randy. Yeah, we can end on this one. Let's go see where it is. Actually, this would be a really good one to be checking out today, especially seeing as, it is a Fed day. I mean, hard not to look at that and still think bullish here. That is a weekly. Obviously, you're kind of approaching your last major breakdown region. So, if you are going to be looking for reversals, this would be the area to be looking for. But for right now, that is not what it looks like. Monthly, still bullish. Bi-monthly, still bullish. Quarterly, still bullish. I think the hopium is that you reverse on some sort of FOMC news today. basically around about 97. So probably what I'd be looking for here around the FOMC meetings, you're probably going to see this one rally into it. And then if there's any sort of, basically not talk about what we spoke about earlier, then probably going to see it reject from there. But that is a bit more hopium than not. I mean, from a TA perspective, it's kind of bullish in all time frames. And I would say that this one actually does turn short-term bearish. Actually, let me not do that right there. But this one does turn a bit short-term bearish below 95.5. So if that level does get taken out to the downside, in fact, that's actually really worthy of having an alert right there, to be honest with you. If that level does get taken out to the downside, it's probably going to be indicating that Bitcoin and most markets are going to have a nice little move to the upside. In this case, Bitcoin very likely well past $50,000. But until then, those are kind of the areas I'm looking for. Higher term timeframes like monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, and 6 month are all still pretty damn bullish there. So everything's going to be kind of riding on today's meeting, I suspect. Anyway, today was an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you for joining in, and good morning to you as well. Pre-crypto workout, man. I used to be addicted to that shit. It was good and fun times, but man, very difficult to get off of. I'll tell you that. All right. Take care, everyone. I want to wish you well. And Elsa's waving in the background. She loves you today. And with that said, much love, and until next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it,